So I was making Halloween cards yesterday and my daughter walked in and she said, "That is really cool paper. Where did you get that?" And I said, "I stamped it." Welcome to this episode of Ink It Up with Jessica TV. I'm Jessica Taylor, and in this episode I'm going to show you how to stamp your own background papers for Halloween cards, or really you can use these techniques for any cards with any stamps that you have. So let me show you how I did that. I'm going to start with an easy one. This background here is just a single boo stamp stamped in basic gray ink. Some tips for stamping your own paper, and I'm starting with a 3 3/4 inch by 5 inch piece of Whisper White paper, is to start in a corner. So for this one, I'm actually going to start in the upper right hand corner, and you want to stamp off of your cardstock because you'll notice when you buy patterned paper at the store or order it online, it always goes off the paper. The design doesn't end inside. So then my trick is to use just a piece of cardstock to give myself some straight lines. And then I also want to stagger so that my boos aren't all in a line, but so that they're kind of staggered across the paper. And you don't have to be super exact with this. I'm going to start in the middle for this one, and then I'm going to go to the right and the left. But by using this cardstock as a guide, it's going to keep my lines of words pretty straight. So there you have a nice background piece of paper. If you need to come back in and fill, like maybe there could be another bee here, you can always do that at the end. For this background piece, I'm going to stamp some jack-o'-lanterns in pumpkin pie ink. Again, I always start in a corner, and I'm kind of turning my stamp so that it's not just straight jack-o'-lanterns all the way across. So my tips are turn your stamp a little bit to vary your pattern, go off the edges, and also stamp in triangles. So if I have 2 jack-o'-lanterns here, I'm going to stamp one down here so they form a triangle. These two, I'm going to stamp one down here so it forms a triangle. After I've stamped my jack-o'-lanterns, I'm going to come back with some gorgeous grape ink and a stamp that says "It's Halloween," and I'm just going to fill in. Again, I'm kind of turning my stamp to give it a little bit of interest, going off the edges until it's filled in how you like it. For this third background, I want to show you how to use versamark on your colored cardstock. This ink pad is a watermark stamp pad, and it is like magic because no matter what color cardstock you stamp on, it's going to look just a little bit darker. So for this background, I started with a stamp that says "Frights and Delights," and I'm just going to stamp that all over. Now let me show you. On here it looks purple, but look at this. Over here it looks orange. How cool is that? Whatever color you stamp it on, that's how it's going to look. Another tip when you're stamping your backgrounds is that you can put multiple stamps on one clear block. So for this one, I've taken 2 little tiny bat stamps and put them on the same block so that I can stamp them together. I'm going to do that with the Versamark ink again, and you can see it's just making the cardstock look a little bit darker than its original color. When I stamp on the orange, it looks orange. Magic. So there you go. There were tips for stamping 3 different types of background paper for your Halloween cards, but you can really use these tips with any stamps that you have to make cards for any occasion. If you make cards using these background stamping techniques, please share them with us. We'd love to see what you're making. Happy stamping!